Hello, YouTube. Rest in peace to Kiana Underwood. And it's just sad because not just because the person passed away near me, like like literally around the corner from me, but she was on Nickelodeon, and I think I spoke about this in a previous video. But a lot of our black stars are dying horrifically. You know, she didn't just die from a hit and run. She was homeless and probably on drugs too. And there's a video on Facebook of her being homeless. She looked like a little girl. And God only knows how long she was homeless. But it's just really, really sad because what happens in the industry to make people go that way? And that's what I wanted to talk about. You can comment, like, and subscribe. What happens to, and I say specifically our black celebrities because I feel like that's who they target. You got a couple of white celebrities who die horrifically, but not as much. You know, it's kind of like once in a blue. You'll get like a Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, um, the one who say Trim Spa Baby. You know, she died horrifically, but they all had money. You get what I'm saying? Even though money don't mean happiness. But why is it that with our stars, they always die broke, alone, and on drugs? What's up with that? You know? And also, it brings me to my point of like, there's so many homeless people or people on drugs in my area that I don't know who's who. So, when they showed the video on Facebook of how she looked, I probably bumped into her, but naturally, I'm not going to know who she is because her face just doesn't. When they showed her face on All That, because she was on the cast of All, she's on the original cast of All That, but that was all that she did. You know, it's not like she kept working. But it's just sad that a lot of these childhood stars, she was only 33. That's the sad part. Childhood's Nickelodeon, Disney Channel people, you know, what the hell is going on? And her coworker or co-star was speaking about it like, yo, she's homeless, let's try to get her some help, and nobody was listening or whatever. And it's just sad because it's like, how did she get to Brownsville? That's the curious part. Like, was she from New York City? Brownsville is pretty drug infested. It's kind of obvious because you always see them, you know, bent over. And I just wanted to talk about that briefly. Like, when you see a homeless person, and I'm guilty of this, you assume that they might have been like that their whole life. You know, the industry that I work in is supportive housing, and some of them, they've been homeless for decades. And what happens is they have families, they get on these drugs, or they become mentally ill, and then they get kicked out, you know, because they become overwhelming to deal with. And so they become homeless, and some of them just get used to it. And it's not until somebody comes up to them, because basically with my organization, and it's two of them in the same supportive housing, when they see somebody in the street, they come up to them. But not everybody is as lucky. You know, some people just stay homeless. And so it makes you really, this story really hit home for me, not just because it's close to home where the accident was, or I don't think it was an accident. I personally feel like it was a setup. Like, somebody had a hit on her from day one. And, you know, she was crossing the street. She wasn't paying attention. And she was hit and dragged. So I feel like it was set up. The person who probably did it was probably a drug dealer. And then it's like, oh, there's no suspects. Like, when people have cars, do they not have licenses? And it was on video camera. That's the crazy part. That's the sad part. Like, if somebody was to hit somebody important, they would have found the person already. But because she's black, homeless, and possibly on drugs, they're saying they can't find the person. Oh, that's such BS. They could find the person if they wanted to. Because if the person had hit a cop, an undercover cop, they would have found them within hours. We all know that. But because she was a black young woman, you know, 33 is super young. I'm 36. Like, she still has some years on her, you know, and, you know, 33, broken, homeless, So she don't matter. They're not gonna investigate it. They're not. No suspects, but it's on video camera though. Does the person not have a license plate? Like you could see that's so unacceptable to me. Like if you capture what's the point of video cameras if you can't catch the person? That's complete. And I hope her family goes hard for her. It's just sad that she didn't get the help that she needed. Obviously, she might have had mental illness, because most homeless people are mentally ill. Some of them are on substances. It's kind of half and half. But I wanted to talk about this story. You can comment, like, and subscribe. And one thing, I worked at Yankee for 2 years, and they taught us you always treat people like a celebrity because you never know who's who. And this is a perfect example of, wow, she was on All That, which was a very popular show back in the day. And look how her life ended. It's so gruesome and so sad to end up homeless in Brownsville and you get hit and run and nobody cares. Nobody's seen nothing. It's like, that's sad. Nobody saw anything. Nobody saw a license plate. The camera got the license plate, but they're not gonna. They could easily research that license plate. It's so simple, and you can find and trace the car. That's simple. And that's just sad that it's like they don't care about her. She's like a, whatever, and it's sad. It really is, really is. So comment, like, and subscribe. What is going on with our black stars? Why are they dying such sad deaths or ending up in jail? I think I spoke in a previous video. You have a lot of rappers, a whole lot, ending up in jail or ending up dead. And then you have the childhood stars. They're not rappers and they're ending up in the same tragedy. So what is that? What is the... Hopefully somebody do a documentary. They actually did do a documentary for the guy that was molesting people, but they should do a documentary for people who end up on a stray, like Family Matters, the girl that was there. And she was famous. Like when you see her face, you know where she's from. And she was on the Family Matters, and then they told her, oh, they couldn't afford to pay her, which is a lie because they brought in Steve Urkel and he was getting top dollar. So, I guess she never recovered from that. She started doing porn. Yeah, it's just so many of them that start off on a good path and then end up, or like the Cosby Show, the light-skinned dude, he was working at Trader Joe's. Nothing wrong with working at Trader Joe's, but it's like, damn, And Tyler Perry saw him and got him a job. Why couldn't Cosby get him a job? You know what I'm saying? Like, this person used to work for you on your show. Why you couldn't look out? The people from All That, they could have used their resources to be like, oh my God, she's homeless. Let's do something for her. Only one person was saying something. And was like, yo, let's help this girl. But nobody wanted to help her help that girl. And it's just like, why is it always our people? It's always our people that get the shorter end of the stick of Hollywood. Why is that? Why is that? Like, this story really upsets me. I was upset. It was crazy because my father, he was like, Crystal, you okay? Da da da. And I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I be? I was like, So, I was like, well, first of all, I don't even wake up that early. This happened 6:50 in the morning. So, usually I'm still asleep. I get up out of bed like 7:30 to get ready for work. And I would never walk down that street that early unless if I'm getting my hair done. Like I get, the beauty salon is over there, the bank is over there, H&R Block is, H&R Block moved. But the shopping area is there. Only time I'm gonna walk in that direction is daylight, when stuff is open. So she got hit before anything was open. It was dark, so. But it just really bothers me because this happens all the time. Then you have the dude from That's So Raven. He was in a few stuff. He was in Moesha, That's So Raven. He was in the Cosby Show. Very talented young man, and he's bugged out. Whenever he do an interview, we like, what happened to him? You know, his longest run was on That's So Raven, so people know him from that. But he was doing stuff way before that. But he's not in his right mind. You know, when you look at his face, he looked crazy, he talked crazy, and it's like, what the hell happens to these black stars? What happens to them? Like, literally, do they go to some seance and get fucked up like at a Diddy party or something? Or like, what happens to them where they can't even hold a conversation, where they talking and looking crazy, ending up, it's a whole lot of them that end up homeless, a whole lot of them. And it's like, well, what's up with that? You know, they can't function in society. Like the dude from Cosby Show, he was working at Trader Joe's. I'm like, at least he got a job, because a lot of them can't even get a job. A lot of them almost as if they're blacklisted, or as, you know, I don't know. But when everybody, oh, he worked, first of all, Trader Joe's, they pay well. So, you know, but yeah, like, what the hell is going on? You know, even with Diana Ross and Supremes, I don't know if y'all remember, but they said how the thick girl, the one that Jennifer Hudson played, they said she ended up on welfare after that. Diana Ross got famous and rich. And then the other girl, she did all right for herself. But the thick one, she ended up on welfare. Like, why is that? Why, you know? And then it's a lot. Like, it's a group called, not Cupid, but it starts with an O. But they sing "Feel Like the First Time, Feel Like the First Time." The name of the group will come to me. But the lead singer died from AIDS. He was tall, dark, and handsome. And that was so sad to me, because they weren't famous for long and he died from AIDS. And then another one, he works for the police department. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But again, it just shows you, like, this industry ain't shit. And then 702, I was watching Unsung. The light-skinned girl, I don't know her name, but she works at a bank. And she said, she was honest. She said, I'm happier now working in a bank as a normal person than I was in 702. 702, we had to wake up all hours in the morning, rehearse, we had to travel, we had to do this, that. It was too much work, you know. We had to, like, be perfect and not gain weight, and it was a lot. But she was like, now that she works in a bank, she's happy, you know. She's like, now I could go to the store with my children and nobody's asking me for an autograph. Like, nobody's, you know, whatever. So yeah, like, it's crazy, you know, but she's happy in life, you know. She's not, occasionally 702, they do get together and perform, but she said that she's much happier now than she was before. Also, Michelle Williams said that too. They asked her in an interview, does she miss being in Destiny's Child? She said no. She said she likes her life. She's an actress. She was in What My Husband Doesn't Know. She was in Wrath with T.D. Jakes. So she does her acting here and there, and she lives a peaceful, private life. And she says she loves it. She loves her life now than she did when she was in Destiny's Child. So comment, like, and subscribe. What's up with our black celebs? Why can't they get no peace? You know, is it a racism thing? I hate playing the race card, but is it racism? What is it? You know, and it's very concerning because it keeps happening over and over again, you know?